One prize decks are some of the most fun decks in the game. However, a lot of them have problems. Lots of problems. Mainly because all of them are trying to do one single thing, and that is to counter Dragapult, right? Let's take a look at 3 of the most recent one prize decks that come to mind. First of all, every single one of them is a Psychic deck. Just thought I should put that out there. And also today's video is about a Psychic deck, but besides the point. Slowking, right? Very much so a Dragapult counter deck. It is good against other things, however, but still built to beat Dragapult. Alakazam, the deck is good against other things, but again, it's tailored towards beating Dragapult. And then Trevenant, it's only good against Dragapult. Like, that deck was only good because Dragapult was a very popular, it still is a very popular deck, right? However, recently, a new deck has come out with the Pitch Black set, and honestly, the Pitch Black set is kind of underwhelming, unless you're an Excadrill fan. Like, shout out to all 3 of you, I'm one of you guys. I kind of like Excadrill, big Excadrilla in VGC. I fuck with him, he's fart smeller, smart fella. But besides the point, that's the only really good deck, other than the one I'm going to talk about today, which I think is probably better because of its potential, right? Potential is a very big, misleading concept in Pokemon trading card game, because you'll look at a card and be like, wow, it's going to be the best thing ever, and it's actually just Rayquaza VMAX, right? So the problem with these cards that are coming out recently is a lot of them do have this kind of potential, but they just flop because you didn't test it against Dragapult enough, right? And today's topic, I guess, is a little bit like that. I guess maybe just a little, but I think that it does have something that the others don't. It has a little bit of life to it. So obviously we're talking about Ghost Veil, and Ghost Veil kind of reminds me of Lost Box, right? Lost Box is probably arguably one of the best decks ever printed because it was just a box. The only difference is with Ghost Veil is that it's less of a box than Lost Box, but it's still a box kind of deck. The nice thing about Ghost Veil is that you actually have a decent matchup against more than just one deck. Like, Dragapult is cool, you can beat Dragapult sometimes, and you can also beat other decks, right? Which is also really nice. And that's the main thing that kind of hurts these other one prize decks, is that they're only good against the thing they're designed to beat, but then they even don't beat that consistently, right? So Ghost Veil is a deck that is built upon one main thing, and that is the Ghost Veil engine. The ability Ghost Veil is already in of itself pretty decent. It prevents all effective attacks done to your Ghost Veil Pokemon, or done to that Pokemon that has the ability. Means it prevents like Monkey Dory, it prevents Phantom Dive damage counters, it prevents Dusk Noir, right? That's pretty cool, right? That's in of its own pretty good. And then on top of that, you have some really good attackers like Delmise. But I don't really want to talk about Delmise today because everyone's talking about Delmise. I want to look at the performative male, right? I want to look at the performative male of this deck, Sinistcha. Sinistcha is... wow. Sinistcha is a card, right? Sinistcha is a tiny little card which does 40 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon if you have 6 or more Ghost Veil Pokemon in your discard pile, which honestly is not that difficult, right? That's broken. I don't think people realize how good 40 damage to everything is, and then you slap a Patrat down, and your opponent can't move that damage over with Monkey Dory, because I know you're about to say, oh, but 40 damage doesn't matter when your opponent moves it all to your side, because every deck plays 12,000 Monkey Dories, right? Unfortunately, the shit-flinging wars will not commence with this deck because we play Patrat. That rat does not like poop, right? He does not like poop being flung. He doesn't like monkeys, so under his watchful eye, we get to keep him on the bench and prevent Monkey Dory doing shenanigans. But on top of that, even if we don't have Monkey Dory doing shenanigans, like if we only have Ghost Veil Pokemon, Monkey Dory can't really do too many shenanigans on our side because of the ability, right? Which is pretty damn cool. But there's something else that I think complements Sinistcha very, very well, and that is the Spiritomb. The Spiritomb, when it first came out, was looked at a gimmick, and it still is kind of looked at a gimmick, but I've played with it quite a bit, and I've realized it's a lot less gimmicky than I thought, because when you deal 80 damage to your opponent's Kangaskhan, right, and you think, wow, that doesn't fucking matter, because I just hit him with a bayonet. I actually only wanted to deal that damage because I wanted to go fetch a Lily's Determination because my hand was ass. And then at the end of the game, you realize that any damage can be turned into 320 damage with the help of Spiritual End. Also, awesome attack name. Thank goodness it's not, like, you know, turned into something like Hide and Sneak. They would never turn a cool name like Ghost Veil into Hide and Sneak now, would they? But Spiritual End is really good. It quadruples the damage on 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. And look, unfortunately it's only 2. If it was 3, creme de la creme, or whatever the saying is. But 2 is almost good enough. The whole idea of this deck is to take early prize cards, maybe not 2 early prize cards, but take 2 prize cards early. Not 2 early prize cards, but 2 early prize cards. You know what I'm saying, right? I hope. And then at the end of the game, you skadoosh 2 things that you spread damage with. So the nice thing is that you have Delmise, which can essentially clean up attacks in the early to mid game, clean up KOs in the early to mid game. When you go Sinister for 40 on everything, let's say they have a Latias or a Pheasantipede, you boss up that Latias or Pheasantipede, kill that with the Delmise. Now you need 4 more prize cards, and you're gonna go Spiritomb, skadoosh, skadoosh. This whole aspect is really good because it denies your opponent options like to disrupt you. They'll have like 1 turn to disrupt you the entire game, because that's when you take your 2 prize cards, and then after that it doesn't matter what they do because you're never taking prize cards again until you win the game, right? I have a much longer video, well, maybe not much longer, but a much more well put together video about this deck coming out soon. But today I just wanted to get some gameplay out, so let's take a look at the deck list and then play some trading card game. Shout out to Future Harper playing Pokemon trading card game. Hi, I'm Future Harper, and I've been tasked with playing the Pokemon trading card game live. And basically, this is the deck, right? This is what we're looking at today, and I'm not gonna lie, this deck has been feeling really, really good. So, we are playing all 16 Hide and Sneak. Can't believe it's called Hide and Sneak. I'm gonna keep calling it Ghost Veil. All 16 Ghost Veil Pokemon, 3 Delmise, 1 Clefairy, which honestly could be a red card, and then 1 Spiritomb because gambling is fun. Then we have 2 Dunsparce, the Dunsparce, and a Patrat, alongside a Shaman to kind of protect our bench. Then the Ace-Spec is a brilliant blender because it just makes this deck easier to function, and then just consistency cards. Alright, time to click play. If you guys want to learn more about this deck, I do have a $5 guide linked down below, and the first 3 people who use code VEIL will get it for free. So go check the pinned comment down below, use code VEIL, and get it for free if you're one of the first 3 people to use that code. Regardless, usually, look, there is an argument to go first or second, right? However, I think going first is correct because it gives you the options of either Bayonet or Sinister on turn 2 if you are able to, you know, have a pretty, like, a faster start. And this hand is, okay, we are playing against the Dragapult, who had 3 mulligans. But, honestly, I'm quite happy to play against Dragapult because I can show you that this game I'm not even going to use Clefairy. I'm going to pretend as a Clefairy's prize. I'm going to show you that it is possible to beat this deck without needing Clefairy. Right? We will take all 3, all of those though, thanks to that. Prism Tower is really good. He starts at a Dunsparce. The Dunsparce. We will be benching our own Dunsparce, thank you very much. We will then also be benching our own Shuppet because I want to Bayonet next turn. We will Pokepad for a Dunsparce, and then go ahead and Pokepad for a... I think I kind of just want to grab another Ghost Veil Pokemon. I guess I could also grab another Dunsparce. I think, yeah, let's just grab another Dunsparce. And then we can have Bayonet for the next turn. We have Gwyn as well. Let's just do this. I kind of want to just make sure we are prepped for the whole idea of item lock and that kind of stuff. And then we'll put the Prism Tower down afterwards in case maybe he tries to get Watchtower down. That's something else that kind of hurts this deck a little bit. But let's just end our turn here. I don't really want to attach the energy just yet because if we do get hammered, obviously, we lose our energy. And we don't have another energy in hand right now, so let's just chill on the energy so we can get Bayonet up and active next turn. And the nice thing with the Bayonet is that, sure, you do KO the Badoo the same as you do with the Delmise, but you also get a card, meaning that, you know, it forces your opponent to kind of try and disrupt you a little bit more. But I think in this position, I don't really mind being disrupted because I'll have the Dunsparce online as well, which is quite nice. But let's just see. Honestly, we might have to use the Dunsparce first before we use the Gwyn to try and get another. That's something else I don't really realize. See, he had the hammer in hand, so we could have gotten punished if we attached the energy. He starts double poffing Ultra. What a guy. I'm guessing he's going to go Meowth here. Meowth for... no, he's going for Dracloak. Alright. Interesting. I'm guessing he has another energy? Okay, that's Crispin. Okay, so if maybe he prizes Meowth, he's going to Crispin to the Dunsparce and a bench Dreepy and then just retreat into Itchy Pollen. I think... in this case, I might go for... Oh, he doesn't even item lock us. Alright, well, now I don't really feel nearly as bad. Okay, well, cool. We did top deck another Hide and Sneak Pokemon, so we can go for these. Alright, cool. We get another Bayonet up as well. We have a Lilies for next turn. I'm down to play the runaway draw here because I would not mind. Let's just check. We have 2. We can get 3, 4, 5. I think we missed by 1, unfortunately. Right, because we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, unfortunately, I guess we can just Prism Tower and just see what we get off of this Prism Tower. If we get something, we can maybe... okay, just a Dunce Boss. Unfortunately, we whiff on the... Sinistra, because I was thinking that maybe we could try get a Sinistra online this turn, but unfortunately doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that. So let's just Ultra Ball away the Clefairy and the Psychic Energy. Getting Psychic Energy into the discard pile is actually quite important at times, because there's quite a few games where I need energy, but I don't have any energy in the in my hand, or in the discard pile I only have the Telepathic Energy, and then obviously from there it kind of sucks because, well, I can't Night Stretcher for a Telepathic Energy. So it just gives us more options to find energy later on in the game, because we do play, 3 Night Stretches, so it does kind of open up that option later on. I think I only want to grab 1 Dhelmise for now. I don't really want to clog up my bench. I don't really know exactly what I want to go for just yet. So let's do this. Let's evolve the Dunsparce now. We have a Prism Tower in hand as well, in case he goes like Boss Watchtower. But we know one of his cards is a Cloak. So let's just go for the Puppet Pull. And then, yeah, 80 damage, knock out the Dunsparce. We will search our deck for a card. And I think over here, I honestly want to just grab a boss, because now we can threaten KO his only Dracloak in play, right? Which will be quite nice in the next one with a Dhelmise. Let's just see. Okay, there's a Sinistra as well. Let's just see how it goes, because we might even pivot back into a Sinistra because we have 4 of these in the discard pile. We just need to make sure not to put too many, hide and sneak Pokemon into play, because obviously we might regret that later on when we try to Spiritomb, but we have too many hide and sneak Ghost Veil Pokemon in play, and then we can't, do any of those shenanigans. But he's just gonna Dracloak, hopefully hit nothing crazy and just Itchy Pollen. He hits a second Dracloak. Alright, the boss's orders is nowhere near as powerful as it would have been. So I think we might just go ahead and take out the active Badoo then. Hits the heads on the energy. Alright, never mind. Okay, I was thinking of maybe we can retreat into the Sinistra and start Sinistraing. But unfortunately, okay, he's got a crazy... He didn't even use the Fez yet. Alright, he's drawn into the nuts here off of that singular Dracloak. Pokepad, he gets a 3rd Dracloak. Alright, so yeah, we're just gonna Lily probably here. And then just take out this Badoo. The unfortunate thing about this now, him hitting heads on the Crushing Hammer, is that I wanted to retreat into the Sinistra and try and maybe start getting up some damage counters, because if we're able to knock out the Badoo this turn and also put 40 damage onto that Fezandipity, with 1 more Sinistra, we could essentially win the game with the Spiritomb, because the Fez would be on 80, and then all of these would also be on 80, meaning that if any of them evolve into Dragapult, which they will eventually, we can just go in Spiritomb, knock out, take 4 prize cards, right? And that's kind of the play you try and build up for in this deck. However, the way this game has played out is the sketchiest way it can possibly turn out, is because now we are a little bit more susceptible to disruption, right? So now it's a little bit scarier for me to actually take knockouts. Even though we have to take a knockout, it's just sketchy. Because if we get Unfair Stand plus Watchtowered, there's a good chance we just lose the game, right? So we do have to be a little bit more careful with how we go about this. We can go ahead and attach the Telepathic. I don't want to grab anything off this Telepathic. I just want to leave those all in the deck, and then we'll go ahead and play the Lily's Determination. Maybe it would have been correct to not play Lily's this turn. This is an interesting hand. We will go ahead and use the Prism Tower to get rid of the Bayonet and an Ultra Ball, and get ourselves another Bayonet, which doesn't really help too much, but we'll just go Puppet Pull here. And then from here, I kinda wanna So yes, and just grab a Gwyn. I think Gwyn would be fine in this position. Yeah, we could just Gwyn here. I just want to make sure at least we're drawing some cards next turn. We could have grabbed the Blender as well, but I think for now this next turn might just be a Poltergeist turn. Sinister turn, right? Because we have 5 of these in the bin, we just need 1 more and then we can go into the Sinister, and we have that with the Ultra Ball away, the Bayonet, and something else to grab the Sinister, attach, and just go for 40. Then we need 1 more turn of dealing 40 everywhere, and then we essentially just win the game. However, if he does whiff the Unfair Stamp this turn, then we are in a really good position because he's not going to be able to disrupt us for this entire game, essentially. Because we're not going to be going for any plays that take knockouts until we win the game, essentially, right? We're just going to be going Sinister, Sinister, Spiritomb. Those are our next 3 turns lined up, basically. That's what we want to do. So it's going to be very difficult for him to whiff the Unfair Stamp, but we are hoping he whiffs the Unfair Stamp because he still has another Dracloak and the Flip the Script, so he's got a lot of stuff to still draw here. You might be saying, why can't he disrupt us? Well, it's because we're at 4 prize cards, right? We're not going to be going underneath 4 prize cards this entire game until we win the game, so red card and stuff like that won't affect us. He can't play Unfair Stamp because we're not going to be taking another knockout. He can't play red card because we're going to be above 3 prize cards, and, well, unless he plays Judge, right? Judge can disrupt us, but I doubt he plays Judge. He's going to go Prism Tower. This is pretty good for a few reasons. 1, it gets him an extra card. 2, it thins 2 bad cards from his hand that he can't draw back into if he plays like a Lily or something, or an Unfair Stamp later on in the game. So it's just a really weird board state. But I think this is the fun thing about Ghost Veil, is that most games are just a puzzle that you're trying to solve, right? It gives me like Dragapult vibes as well, but a little bit more punishing, because you have a little bit more things that you have to kind of like think about, right? He's going Risky Ruins, which is good for us, means we're not going to be seeing a Watchtower come down this turn, which is quite nice. But we might be seeing, yeah, a Monkey Dory. He could go ahead and Crispin, Dracloak, Monkey Dory knockout the Dunsparce. Well, Phantom Dive knockout the Bayonet and Dunsparce in this turn. Unless he plays Crystal. Crystal, he can also just go... Okay, he's not playing Crystal. I doubt he's playing Crystal because he attached there. So he is probably playing the Unfair Stamp. But we are yet to see anything crazy happen. Phantom Dive. Right, we don't get Unfair Stamp, which is really nice. Because now I think we're in a really good position to just win this game. He doesn't take 2 prize cards here, which is quite nice. He goes 10 onto the Dunsparce and 20 onto the Delmise. And he only takes 1, which is, yeah, just super nice. So let's try and get... I want to get this Dunsparce out of play this turn. So go ahead and use the Dunsparce. Runaway draw, first things first. Draw 3 cards. Perfect. All right. We draw into some really nice cards there. I'm going to go ahead and Gwyn first. Let's get rid of the Poltergeist and the Bayonet. Draw 6 cards here. We can go ahead and... I'm down to play the Blender, actually. Blender out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Won't need Shame in this game. Just get rid of those 5. Then we can go ahead and use the Pokepad. Grab ourselves another Dunsparce. Then we'll go evolve the Dunsparce, use the Dunsparce, and we have the Dunsparce to like re-bench here as well. We draw the Patrat as well, which is super nice. So we'll be benching this guy, we'll be benching the Patrat. So, oh, okay, well, I'm a bit of an idiot there. I've just let, okay, whoops. Okay, well, that entire sequence was a bit silly, because now I've just lost what I wanted. Unfortunately, but we can evolve this here. We do need to get another Sinister up and out of the bin. Poltergeist here, just bench this guy, and then from here I'm down to just... The thing is, I need to get another I don't really have to get another Dunsparce, right? How many Pokemon are in the bin? We've got 12, right? 4, 8, 12. We've got 12, so 1 more Night Stretcher attach would work. We can't get disrupted, so we should just be fine here to Matcha Spin, right? I think there's something that we really want to thin. We can probably get rid of this Delmise plus the No, I think I'm just chilling here. I think I'm happy to go for the Matcha Spin. Deal 40 damage to everything, which is super nice. Unfortunately, our Dunsparce will go down, which is a bit of a misplay on my end. I didn't bump his Stadium before putting down my Dunsparce, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I'm pretty sure we have 2 more Night Stretches, so we should be fine on that side of things, as long as we don't run out of energy. But we have 3 energy in hand, so we really shouldn't be in too much of a worry. And then next turn we can go for another Matcha Spin, and then the game might be getting out of hand for him. The problem is that Dunsparce, right? I don't want to kill that Dunsparce, but he might be forcing me to kill that Dunsparce, right? Okay, he just passes, so I'm assuming his game broke or something, or he gave up, but there was a few ways, obviously, we could win this game. We could have gone in with a Delmise, knocked out his Dragapult now, and yeah, well, we could have Delmise, bossed up his Pheasantipity and knocked out the Pheasantipity, right? And then next turn gone for another Delmise with the Clefairy Plate, knock that out. But obviously that's not possible because he's not here anymore. Yep, unfortunately he went AFK.